Good evening. Welcome to Scale is Needed. I'm Larry King.
Bah. that was Larry King?
I didn't say it was a good Larry King. It was just
I'm
Larry
pretty sure
King.
that was Sidney Poitier.
Good evening.
I'm Larry King.
Welcome to Scale is Needed.
You think
they
of
call me
yourself
Mr. Tibbs.
as a black man. I think of myself as a man. That's right. It's not a good Sidney Poitier, but it's a dead on your Larry King.
It's not a good Sidney Poitier, but it's a great Armen's Larry King. So that's what really matters here. Welcome to Scale is Needed, folks. I'm Armen Hammer, Kyle Bogart, Cliff Bogart.
Nope.
You guys are both here.
Yeah, I'm the non-Poitier.
And you guys are both wearing the same shirt.
We sure are.
Why?
Because we're in Flow Sports, and I like to wear a shirt that matches whatever building I'm in at any moment. So if I go into GNC, I need a GNC shirt. If I go into Hooters, I want to wear Hooters shirt and hot pants. You don't do this?
I don't. No, I don't live life to the extreme that you do.
That's right. Listen, we like to live on the edge. We like to live radical all the time. Just me and Brody and the ocean. That was a Point Break reference.
Back off, War Child.
Man, back off. These guys like to live radical.
Yeah, so it's way earlier than we usually record this.
This is true.
And my expectation is that is all we're going to be getting out of Cliff the entire
episode.
episode.
I'm fine. All I'm thinking about is at what point are we going to need to take a bathroom break during the course of this podcast?
We're right. This is right over the top of Cliff's scheduled BM.
Exactly. That ain't a lie.
I almost just spit coffee out of my nose because poop is always funny. It's always funny. It's never not funny.
And you know what's gonna make you poop? That
coffee is damn right it is.
Just a jar of cold brew.
That's why I tip the coffee shop I go to so much, because I take a poop there every day.
But the poor barista walks into that bathroom and just goes, not again.
But the goodwill you make, the goodwill that you cultivate with that tip, you lose because you just walk out of the bathroom and then you just sprinkle the dollars on the ground and walk away. Listen, you're gonna want to clean up in there. You just knock some dollars on the ground and walk away.
You actually you smear poop on the wall and stick $1 bills to the It's yours if you want it. Take it. It's yours.
Then he puts on a pair of sunglasses and walks, and some John Woo doves fly away behind.
So if you can't tell, we are not at all affected by the delirium that is early mornings.
We're fucking nailing it. We should do this every day.
Yeah.
I'll just show up as I did at 9 a.m.
I guess if we're going to start an hour late all the time, we might as well just start an hour late early in the morning as opposed to an hour late in the afternoon.
I don't have anything better to do. Sure.
Yeah.
So speaking of not having anything better to do, you guys have been going to South by Southwest a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That is a better thing to do.
We're in the middle of South by. Actually, we kind of wrapped up the main part of the film festival yesterday. So they did the film awards and kind of the intermission party, which is the film closing night party. So they're still doing more screenings this week, but it's been a big 5 days of the film festival, which we do every year. So.
Do you see anything cool?
Yeah, we've seen some amazing stuff. Probably the most significant thing is we saw the new Edgar Wright movie, Baby Driver, which premiered at South by and was fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Baby Driver, Edgar Wright, director of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, all of those movies, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, a brilliant filmmaker, and his new film is like a bank heist movie starring some young guy as Baby Driver. He's a getaway driver, but he lives life kind of disconnected from the world with two earbuds in his ears all the time, listening to his iPod. And so it's a whole movie full of car chases, bank robbery sequences, and things, all perfectly synchronized to needle drop songs that are playing through his earbuds. So they cleared all the songs in advance of shooting the movie. And when I say that things are perfectly synchronized, I mean that there's big one-shot sequences with him like going down the street, getting something and coming back, all perfectly synchronized to a pop song to the point where like he's running down the street and there's like graffiti on the walls that say like "yeah" and "baby" in perfect sync with the lyrics
What
of the
the
song
fuck?
as he runs by them. And yeah, so and it's all diegetic, so it's all he's listening to it, so he's like mouthing along to the words while he's going through these action sequences. So it's kind of almost like a musical in a sense, and it's pretty fucking amazing.
There's even more complicated and dangerous things going on in sync to the music. There's a bit where John Hamm rocks an assault rifle, and he nails like 5 or 6 shots to the off beats in a song. Boom, ba-boom, boom. Boom! Actually firing real fake bullets. Perfectly in sync with the beats, the off beats of a song.
Yeah, John Hamm was there at the screening and saying that they couldn't do playback for all the gunplay stuff, so they would have to listen to a song and then immediately go out there and fire real guns to the beats in their head of when they knew the beats were going to be in the song until they nailed it.
This is amazing.
Yes, this is amazing. And they used it has the most spectacular and creative car chase action I've seen in any film in at least a decade, and they use no CGI cars in the film, and they use no CGI guns.
Yeah, in fact, I'll go this far. Best car chases in movies since T2.
Since Terminator 2.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, there's some pretty spectacular stuff. The whole opening sequence is just this amazing getaway driving sequence that's basically like watching. It's like someone shared with you like a really cool anime sequence, and like some guy did this on his computer, and it's in Japan, and it's amazing. Look at how cool it is. You watch like, oh, holy shit, this is cool. Except it's a real movie with real cars, with like real shit going on, and John Hamm is in it, and it's so you're all going to be hearing lots about this very soon.
And the other noteworthy thing I must say is that this is, even though there's a lot of funny things that happen in it, a lot of moments where you laugh, this is the first Edgar Wright movie that doesn't obviously fall into the comedy genre.
Yeah, I mean it's still very funny and light, but it does get pretty serious.
It gets pretty serious, and again, it's sort of there's lots of laughs in it, like there's laughs in Old Boy, but it doesn't get as serious as Old Boy at all.
No.
Oh, thank God.
But doesn't get anywhere near as serious, but it does get somewhat serious, and it's not obviously a comedy.
Yeah, but it's really good. Kevin Spacey, Jamie Foxx, John Hamm, and some newcomer as Baby Driver.
When can I give someone money to experience this?
It's going to be a few months, I think, before it comes out.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah,
God
it's
damn
great.
it. By the time I see it, you guys are going to be like, yeah, old news. Fuck you.
Exactly. Well, that's going to be tomorrow. And every
Like,
day
it
in
is
between.
literally old news right now.
It's old news already.
Also, fuck you, Armen.
Oh, so then the next night we saw the premiere of Atomic Blonde, which is the
Charlize Theron John Wick movie.
Yes, exactly. And I will say, this was the John Wick 2 that we wanted. I'm a huge fan of John Wick 1. However, John Wick 2 didn't really deliver on some of what I really liked, and I'll get into that in a second. But there were apparently two directors for John Wick 1, and they kind of split up after that. One directed John Wick 2, and one of the guys came over and directed Atomic Blonde.
Oh, wow.
But the guy who directed Atomic Blonde, what was missing, what I loved about John Wick was that, cool, practical, amazing stunt work and action, but the action was so creative. There was like a new, cool, funny idea in the action every few minutes. John Wick would do something creative or shoot a guy through a wall, or something surprising would happen that would make you go, whoa, and kind of blow you away. And while there was certainly more action in John Wick 2, those creative moments seemed to be absent. And I was kind of like, where are they? Then I watched Atomic Blonde, and it was like, there they are.
They're all there.
They're
times
all
10.
there. They're times 10. It's not a perfect movie. It's kind of, they try and have this overwrought spy plot, and there's a lot of talking and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, it's like there's a lot of sequences where like people are explaining away why characters are doing things and whatever's going on. Like James McAvoy plays the bad guy. He was really good in it. But that stuff aside, the action is amazing, creative, just constantly new ideas that are just kind of making you go, holy shit, the whole time. And there's one, but I'm sure a lot of people will try. There's one, it's not really all one shot, because they've clearly, there's a few hidden edits in it, but there's like one action sequence down that like starts in an elevator, then goes down a staircase, then ends up in a car that turns into a car chase with one continuous shot. That's probably like 20 minutes of screen time.
That's awesome.
Yes, it's pretty amazing. But the thing is, it's not just 20 minutes for the sake of 20 minutes with people punching each other, because I've seen like a lot of people made a lot of a lot of big to-do about. There was actually a stairwell action sequence in this year's Daredevil series, the series season 2, but it was mostly just people punching each other for 20 minutes. This is 20 minutes of like a new cool gag that's making you go, wow, awesome, cool, and clap your hands like every minute.
It's
for
not
20
like
minutes.
it's not like Ong Bak where he starts at the bottom of the giant restaurant and he just like goes
Punches
from
his way
floor
all
to
the way up.
floor, just beating the shit out of everybody.
That wasn't Ong Bak. That was, what is it?
Taeguk Ji?
The Protector.
Oh,
Protector?
was it? I thought it was. I thought it was
No,
not
Ong Bak
No.
one. No.
Was it?
No.
Yeah, whatever. It was
Taeguk Ji or
one
the
of
Protector or
those.
something. Yeah.
That was long action sequences. It's
Yeah.
basically like, if I think of long sequences, I always kind of default to the one in Children of Men.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a pretty classic one. But I feel
Yeah.
like if you're adding in something really challenging, like
All
having to
Clive Owen had to do in Children of Men is run from a place
Right.
and duck, and then
Scary.
run
Right.
from a place and duck. Charlize Theron, by the way, did pretty much all of her own stunts, and to the point where they even work in gags where it makes you think it's her stunt double, but it's not her stunt double. Like there's a one-shot, very short one-shot sequence where she beats up two guys doing all sorts of crazy flips, and right prior to that shot she pulls a mask up over her face, and so it makes you think, okay, all these cool flips and all this shit, clearly it's her stunt double. But then the camera dollies in when she's finished, she pulls down the mask, and it's her. So it just even works gags in to trick you into thinking
Interesting.
maybe there's a stunt double. Nope, that's her.
Yeah,
So it is
I mean,
very cool.
it really is. I don't really think about how to push the envelope in filmmaking on a regular basis because, really, honestly, why would I? That's not like my deal. But
It's important for your survival.
right. But it's awesome to see that people are sort of giving themselves technical challenges that are actually merited by the story or what they're trying to do is actually interesting, as opposed to just a technical challenge for the sake of a technical
And
challenge.
I don't even put it's like I won't even put these down as technical challenges, because I could give a shit whether or not something was hard to do. But very often the things that are hard to do are the things you just are what you don't see on screen because it's easier to use some sort of workaround. So it's like when you get to see a part of what makes the action, like even if you don't really comprehend that it's difficult, the action in John Wick so powerful to watch. I think just any layman can walk in and be like, I don't know why this is so compelling, but it's so compelling. It's because you're seeing, these clear connected moments with a real person on screen clearly doing all of these things, shooting this, that, and then telling a story visually, as opposed to a bunch of frenetic cuts and camera whips and moves which are there to kind of imply action without the actual logistical challenge of a staging action ever factoring into it.
like the Jason Bourne.
Yes, like
action.
that kind of stuff. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that because it has an effect, but because doing what they do in John Wick is so hard, we're not accustomed to seeing it. In fact, we're not really accustomed to seeing it unless it's, Asian actors in an Asian movie, an Asian martial arts movie, because what we see them do in films like Ong Bak or films like The Raid, we're just not accustomed to seeing people. So when we see a movie like John Wick, it's like, holy shit, white people can do that? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Well, I for one can't wait to see Baby Driver. That sounds fucking awesome.
It's
I haven't
pretty
even
cool.
seen a single trailer for
Trailer
it.
came out the same day we saw it. The
Oh,
premiere.
okay.
So
So it's not like it's been sitting around for a while. I feel like I've heard the name for a little bit, but I didn't really
Yeah.
know what it was all about.
yeah, so we can pull up the trailer right now. We'll just watch it on the podcast.
Fuck it, whatever. And then you know what I saw? We'll talk about fitness in a second. I was in San Diego for 17.3 at Invictus, but while I was there on after the 17.3 live announcement on Thursday night, I went and I watched Logan.
Oh yes.
Oh, yes.
And we saw Logan yesterday.
You guys saw Logan too?
Yeah.
Took a little break from the festival and just saw a movie.
Just a nice happy break
Yes.
from the festival.
Yeah, it was a happy break.
As compared to a hell of a lot of festival movies, yeah, that's downright, I don't know, cheerful.
Yes. So
Yeah. I feel like we're a couple. We're not that far behind it. It's been only like a week and a half since it came
We're very
out.
topical.
I thought Logan was pretty good.
I liked it a lot, yeah.
It was awesomely violent
It sure
and heartbreakingly sad.
He stabbed
sometimes.
a bunch of heads.
Yes.
All of the heads got stabbed.
Although with all the blood and all that stuff, the most shocking thing to me for it being the first R-rated X movie was seeing
the second R-rated X movie.
Oh, second. Oh, yeah, that's
Deadpool.
true. Well, that's kind of half an X movie. This is a full-on X movie.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Is seeing Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman in character saying "fuck."
Yes,
that was
exactly
shocking.
it. Patrick Stewart dropping f-bombs was like, oh my god, no.
Yeah.
In character
Captain
as Professor
Picard.
X. Holy shit!
They've invented a new word in this world.
Yeah. It's like at no other points when Wolverine was in dire straits or kind of pissed off did he say fuck. I guess he didn't know that word earlier in the installments of this series.
No, but it's just a good movie. It's a really good story. It's a really great screenplay. It's just really well done. It's cool. And part of what makes it so good is it just, it is its own movie. It felt like, despite the fact that it did emerge from like all this whole like X franchise that's been going on for a while, clearly someone had a story they wanted to tell and actually told that story, and was given the space to be able to do that without then having to take that and break it down to accommodate, I think, what would be expected from the final installment in an X franchise. Like, I could see a world, and this is really the world we live in, where, like, more often than not, where someone would write a screenplay like this, it's like, this is good, but this is not an X-Men movie. And so then all of a sudden, the stripped down, like, road movie, family movie, brutal movie we saw would have been, it's like, well, we gotta fold in some more X cameos, and then he's got to fight some robots, and then we got to cut away to a bunch of guys in a government room who are searching for the Wolverine, and a few.
How do we include Stryker in this?
Yes, exactly.
How do we include Stryker and that damn dam in Alaska?
How do we get Jennifer Lawrence back into this thing?
Right.
No, it was left as is, and it really is good, and it feels like it has no connection really aside from the casting to any other film in the franchise.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, and someone else had pointed this out, and it's just kind of a funny way to think about it, because one of the things that happens in the film is that X-Men comics exist within the film. So you have Wolverine, who's like picking up these X-Men comics that are supposed to be like loosely based on their exploits, and he's like, none of this crap actually happened. So it's one interesting way to think about the film, is as like potentially this is a world in which none of what happened in the previous X-Men films ever actually happened.
Right.
That those were the comic book stories, and this is something closer to the truth. There is an alternative reality to that.
So
reality.
that's why they weren't saying fuck.
That's exactly right. See, and it all works. It all actually.
Yeah, I think I do like how Logan lives in its own sort of world, where it could possibly be tied to like one of the 85 Singer verses that exists in the X-Men continuity, but it also just kind of works in its own like ambiguous, this is the future that they live in type thing. Because they keep referencing things like, you're basically led to believe that there are no more mutants. It's just them. Something catastrophic happened that probably had to do with Charles Xavier that like ended a lot of the mutants. It's like,
plus then they have the one British guy who right before he gets killed explains why there are no mutants. There's I won't give it away, but there's an explanation given in brief, and then the guy gets shot.
Right.
So
I think there's I like how the film kind of is its own sort of timeline, but it can go back if you really wanted it to. It can go. It doesn't really fucking matter. Yes, the F-bombs out of Professor X were crazy. The head stabbing was awesome. It was like the first time he stabbed a face, and like just blood exploded everywhere. Yes. I think I let out a yes in the theater.
And they don't hold back. They go right for that head stabbing pretty early in the film. And they don't get tired of it.
Quick question: what's everyone's favorite head stab?
Oh man,
because you have one.
So many head stabs.
Well, the very first action sequence is it almost starts off like you're expecting it to be. Like it starts off, it goes 0 to 100 real fucking quick.
Yeah,
I mean, he like cuts off arms, legs, and faces like right off the bat. Like there's no fucking hesitation there. So I've got to say that very first one is one of my favorites.
That was pretty cool. And then there's the sequence where there's a sequence later on where kind of time is frozen, and I won't spoil anything, but just the silly brutality of how many people he kills in that sequence.
Yeah.
Is pretty funny.
It's the guy looking at him with his eyeball.
Yeah.
It's like, I know it's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen. We all know it's gonna happen.
And he goes straight for the fucking face too.
Every
It's
time.
not even.
He's not even like these guys might recover. Face stab.
I thought Boyd Holbrook did a pretty decent job as like the security guy. Like when the little girl comes out and like has the head and throws the head, and he's like, whoa, whoa, like you don't want to do this.
Who's that guy? What has he been in?
Boyd Holbrook. The only reason why I know his name and like I won't forget it is because I actually trained him in L.A.
Oh, okay.
For a little while, yeah.
Cool.
And he was. I didn't know he was an actor, or that he was like even a successful actor,
Or that he had a metal arm.
or that he had a metal arm, or that he just fucking hated mutants so much. What a dick. I knew that he was an actor of some sort. I knew that he probably was in some stuff.
Cool.
But I didn't know what he'd been doing. And,
Shout out to Boyd Holbrook.
Yeah, shout out to Boyd Holbrook. I thought he did a pretty decent job.
Yeah, no, he did a great job. He was fucking fantastic.
So yeah, I thought Logan was really good. It really was fucking sad, man.
Yeah.
There was some like
it was a good sad.
It was a good sad.
It was a nice cathartic sad.
I don't want to I feel like it's still topical enough that I don't want to spoil anything, but there was definitely some moments. There was one particularly heartbreaking moment where I was like legit about to start crying, and it was like around the middle of the movie. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Whatever, we can talk about it more specifically later. Anyway, so fitness.
Yes. Oh, I also saw Kong Skull Island yesterday.
How was Kong?
It was not good.
I didn't feel like it was going to be good.
Well, that's the thing, is that I actually I really liked the trailers and everything, but it was a real mess. It was a real fucking mess, like from beginning to end.
Really?
You know? Well, you can. It's just like it's like when you can just kind of feel the film feels like a product more than a movie. And by that what I mean is like when actors who are consistently good actors are delivering bad performances, then you know that there wasn't a director who was there for them. When it's difficult to describe exactly, but it just felt like this weird hollow thing that was absent of any characters and absent of anything, that was all just kind of a backstory to set up a potential shared universe with King Kong and Godzilla and all of these things, and wasn't a story that was standing on its own in any way. And I don't know. It's like if you've seen the trailer, you've basically seen the film at this point. So
they are making a Kong versus Godzilla
there's
movie.
a full-on post-credits stinger to set up the shared universe.
What is the point? Why? We don't need a shared universe for everything,
You're
guys.
getting it. You're getting a shared universe for everything.
The most recent shared is it too soon to talk about the most recent shared universe that we all kind of witnessed? You guys saw it.
Which one?
More recently, it has whatever. Fuck James McAfee.
What?
Shared universe. Split.
Oh,
right.
Split.
Yeah.
There we go. Is it too soon to talk about that?
Yeah, I guess, is that a shared universe?
I feel like that is a welcome, right? It's kind of like, oh, let's this is an interesting story.
Yeah. So, for those of you, we can talk about it.
I mean, look, it's not necessary to get into the details. If you haven't seen Split, you should go see it, because it
does have the stinger at the end ties it into other films,
and it's very good.
Yes,
but that's the type of thing that we kind of want.
Yeah.
As opposed to who the fuck asked for King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah. I mean, King Kong versus Godzilla, it's a cool concept and everything. I mean, it's obviously not an original concept. They already did that movie years and years ago. But I don't know.
You know what this is like? We don't need another Kong movie to set up King Kong versus Godzilla. Mm-hmm. We all fucking get it.
Yeah.
There was a Godzilla movie 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
We get it.
Yes.
There's a King Kong movie like 6 years ago, or however long that Peter Jackson
But
one
this,
was.
but this Kong
2006.
is bigger.
This Kong's like what, like 15 times bigger than
He's
him?
15 times bigger than him.
So who fucking cares? Just
Yeah.
send them all to, I don't know, like Ontario, and have them fight each other north of the border.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. The real frustrating thing about Kong Skull Island is that it just seems at a certain, like, it was baffling. Like, it just seems like the characters were walking through.
Like a Universal Studios attraction.
Yeah, basically, because periodically CG shit would just show up and pluck off one of the main characters, and then everyone else would just continue to soldier on and discuss how much longer they have to until they need to get to the extraction point. And it's just like, to a degree that it was actually weird. Like, they're all like, all right, well, we have 72 hours to get to the extraction point, and then we can get off of this damn island. And then a bat creature flies out of the sky and snatches one of the lead actors and rips him in half, and everyone's like, all right, let's keep moving. Or they just talk about Kong abstractly, and they'll just cut to Kong, and he's like just fighting a monster on another part of the island, and then they cut back. It's like, it's as if what went on with monsters and stuff never at any point factored into the decision making or had any emotional impact on any of the characters as they marched towards the extraction point. John C. Reilly's pretty good in it, but that's really about it.
I mean, what is he not good in?
He's always good.
He's always good. So okay, that's good to know. Is there anything else I'm missing here? Any other films that you guys may have seen that is interesting?
Not in theaters, or that are gonna be in theaters.
You hipster motherfucker.
Yeah.
Not in theaters that
Nothing.
you would see.
Nothing really.
Yeah. We saw a documentary at South by called The Work that is will probably be seen at some point, and it's worth
very
seeing.
sad.
It's very sad.
Is it like Logan sad?
It's sadder than that. It's a documentary shot over 4 days, and the 4 days are intense group therapy sessions done in maximum security prison with a mixture, interestingly enough, of prisoners and some folks from the outside also trying to work through their shit. And so you have intense, like physically and emotionally intense group therapy sessions with prisoners who are like there for like 75-year sentences for having killed people, and trying to work out their childhood issues.
Yeah, it's like, I'm so sorry, and I like always was lost when I was a kid because my father was never there, and now I know that I won't be there for my son who is just born, but I just want to change so I know that he'll be okay. And it's like he has a huge breakthrough, and it's like, but I still have to spend the next 75 years in prison, and you're just like,
shit.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
You're
wow.
just like, it's like, it's legit real sad.
Wow.
Not like silly movie sad, but just sad. But it's a pretty powerful fucking movie. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right.
So
On,
The Work
that
coming to a
note-
theater near you.
On that note,
Date movie. Fitness.
Fitness.
Very popular in prisons.
it is very popular in prisons. I was in San Diego for 17.3, which, by the way, I don't know if we really even got a chance to talk about 17.3 because I think it was released after we recorded last week.
Oh yeah.
But I really like that workout.
That's a pretty cool workout.
I'd say this workout is going to be highly predictive of placement at the games and regionals there.
I would say so. I think this workout was 17.3 it's really elegant. It kind of flows in a very interesting way, in a way that I would not have expected just by seeing it on paper.
Yeah.
First of all, it didn't help that Dave Castro presented it in literally the most confusing way possible. I mean, he could not have made it more confusing in his presentation of it. He started off with the total number of reps, and then started breaking it down from there, and then introduced like the ascending, descending. It was like, what the fuck are you doing? Just give us the fucking workout.
Yes.
But once you understood it, it actually flows really well, and it's really elegant. And for those that actually had an opportunity to finish it, I think it separates a lot of fucking people. One thing that's really fascinating about this workout is if you look at the leaderboard after 17.2, Pat Vellner is in the lead on the men's side. He's very fit, but those two workouts, they favor a smaller athlete. And he's not small. He's just 10 pounds or 5 to 10 pounds lighter than Rich would be or whatever. And He's in the lead after 17.2, but those workouts are like smaller, more pain cave, more skills, maybe like gymnastics, endurance based.
Yeah.
And then we haven't really seen any sort of like heavy barbell show up until this workout. And then this workout, after it's over, the top 3 are Matt Frazier, Rich Froning, Noah Olson.
Yes.
And you're looking at you like, one workout, like that's
One
all
workout,
it took.
yep.
It took them being really fucking consistent in the first 2 workouts, and then one workout shows up, and suddenly the top 3 is who you'd probably expect it to be.
And although on the men's side, yes, on the women's side, there's a little bit of a surprise there.
Carrie Pierce, she's in the fucking lead after 3 workouts.
She's very fit.
Is she?
Right?
Is
Yeah,
she
she's first place. Yeah,
that's
Sarah Sigmund's daughter second. But yeah, Carrie Pierce. It was. She was noteworthy for having gone into the CrossFit Games with just a few months of CrossFit training under her belt a couple of years ago. And sure enough, that early promise is now paying off.
Yeah, she's been crushing it. I mean, I've met her. She's really cool. She's very aggressive in her training. But did you have the leaderboard up there?
Yeah, I have it up there.
What'd you got?
Carrie Pearson first. Sarah Sigmund's daughter is in second. Annie, Thor's daughter, is in third, and tied with Camille.
Wow.
Yep.
I actually saw Camille do 17.3, and she fucking crushed it, dude.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the winning score on 17.3 was Kara Webb.
Yeah.
She got like 15.56. Camille missed her last snatch. If she had made her last snatch, she would have beat Kara by like 2 or 3 seconds.
Interesting.
And it was a crazy performance.
Yeah, that's in keeping with you were telling us earlier on previous podcasts. You think that Camille is in just crazy better shape this year.
She's back in a way that I would not. She's right now setting herself up for a top 10 finish at the CrossFit Games.
Okay, awesome.
And if her training continues going in the direction that it seems to be going in, she's setting herself up for a run at the podium again.
Awesome.
She's back in a way that I never would have expected for her to be back. It's really phenomenal.
Cool.
Her like poise and pacing during 17.3 was masterful.
Cool.
And I watched it. I was like, "There's no way she's gonna be able to keep this up." She was going unbroken on the chest bar pull-ups all the way through the sets of like 9 and 10.
Yeah.
She was like just nonstop. Like every snatch was just on fucking point. It was amazing. On the men's side, Ben Smith won.
Yes.
And he was really fucking good on this workout.
I watched some of it, yeah.
He crushed it. In fact, he was so good on the workout, at the 8-minute mark, he had already finished. He was moving into his 225s.
Yes.
So he was several rounds ahead of the curve on his workout. It was really, really impressive. But one thing that I noticed about this compared to last year, so last year we had 16.2 was like kind of the big weight ladder. It was the toes to bar double under squat clean workout. And take a wild guess as to who won that workout last year.
I don't know.
I'm gonna guess it's Ben Smith
and Kara Webb.
Nice.
So the exact same people won the similarly sort of designed workout. Ascending weightlifting ladder, mixed with like some simple gymnastics.
And both of those people went on to not win the CrossFit
And
Games.
both of those people went on to not win the CrossFit Games. So I don't know what that tells you about that workout.
So take from this what you will.
The key is to not win these workouts.
Yes. That's an important predictor.
Oh, yes. Although, as I recall, looking through this workout in particular, in terms of being predictive of like overall finishes, it's like looking at the relatively small number of people who even finished this workout within the time cap. There was all names I recognize there. It's not like the previous 2 workouts where you saw names in the top that have never been to the games or you never heard of there. It's like all people whose names you recognize as former games
Which
athletes.
really, because it brings, I think it showcases the most important element of general physical preparedness, which is high-level elite Olympic lifting.
a highly specialized sport.
Yes.
Precisely. And I'm not sure whether it says something about fitness or if it says something about us or if it says something about CrossFit, but you're like, oh, after this workout, the people I expect are going to be at the top of the leaderboard are at the top of the leaderboard.
Is that good or bad? I don't know.
Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
Either way, it's entertaining as shit. This workout was really cool, and a lot of people crushed it, which is good to see. People that, at a certain point, your expectations need to be met, right? Like, if Matt Frazier doesn't finish in the top 10 during the Open, that's a surprise.
Yeah.
Right. And now he's back at the lead. So, all is right in the world.
Yeah.
So, I think that's pretty cool. I did the workout as well.
Yes.
And I had a plan going into it.
Yes.
I executed that plan fucking perfectly
Uh-huh.
until I wasn't able to execute it anymore. So I thought to myself, I looked at this workout and I said, you know what? I can snatch more than 225.
There you go.
I can make it to that bar. It's been 2 or 3 years since I've snatched 225 tired. So it's been a long time since I've snatched it in the middle of a workout, but I can snatch more than 225 fresh. If I can make it to that bar and give myself a few minutes, I might be able to give it a good shot, and that would be really fucking cool. And so I was like, okay, let's work backwards here. How much time do I need to get there? Okay, so I need to finish everything up by the 12-minute mark. I'll probably need about 6 minutes of that to do the 185. So I'm going to take my time through it and really kind of like nail each of these. So I need to finish, the first set of like the 95s and the 135s through the first 6 minutes and give myself 6 minutes. And I fucking nailed it. Like I finished my first 6 rounds. I got to the 185 bar at like just before the 6-minute mark. So I had 6 minutes to do 3 rounds of 8 pull-ups and 4 snatches. And I do my first set of 8 chest bar pull-ups, which I was only doing like 2s and 3s, by the way. I was like the idiot that's like just jumping up and like
jumping from the ground to the bar.
Right. Yeah. And so I like walk over to the bar and I'm like, I can do this. Like 185. I snatch this tired all the time. Apparently not though. Apparently not. I missed my first rep and everything fucking fell apart from that point on. Like it took so much of my energy to just be like, God damn it, pick up this fucking bar, you idiots. And what ended up happening was I was basically, if I had just made that first snatch, I think mentally I would have been able to keep a pace up, and I did not. And so I didn't make it to the 225s.
Yes.
But one and done.
One and done.
Because that's the way it fucking works. And your boy is sitting in like the top 5 or 6% right now.
5 or 6%.
Nice.
So whatever I did worked.
Yes.
And hopefully it doesn't keep going fucking downhill from here.
Speaking of people who are killing it in the Open, shout out to Clifford Bogart, the father. He is now the 33rd fittest man in his region in the
60-plus age category.
Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Why did you wait this long to bring this up, you idiots? This is so fucking topical. Like,
it is super topical.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
We didn't
Just
know
forgot
if he was
about
going
it.
to continue to soldier on with it, but he has, so he's just moved with this workout from 48th to 33rd in his region.
Is he going to make
He's
the
in
200?
striking distance.
Is he going to make that top 200 mark?
If there's some attrition in the 60-plus range, maybe he'll make the top 200. We can check. I haven't checked yet.
Holy shit, you guys.
We do need to check to see where he is leaguerboard-wise in the
The
worldwide.
world is what matters,
Yeah,
right? It's top
worldwide
200.
and world, yeah.
It's top 200. That is you guys are assholes. Why haven't you brought this up? Your dad is fucking doing the Open.
We knew that he was doing it for the second year, but it wasn't
For
really
the second year?
Yes,
I didn't even know
we
your
know.
dad
Oh,
was
yeah.
CrossFit. I thought your dad was a marathon runner.
He is, but he's been doing CrossFit for about a little over maybe a year and a half or so at this point.
It's a good thing we don't have
Yeah.
a fitness podcast that focuses mainly on the CrossFit games.
That would be relevant to bring up, but Cliff Bogart the Elder. Marathon runner, but he got into CrossFit maybe 2 years ago or so. He goes about 3 times a week in Dallas and stuff. And I think he just has a tremendous, he doesn't have a lot of weightlifting experience or anything, but he's one of those people who comes in with just a tremendous base of fitness for someone his age, because he's in his mid 60s, but he just gets up every morning and just runs 5 miles or whatever.
Dude.
And he's still run marathons this year. I think he's still running marathons. I think he's doing another one sometime later this year. So he just has a good base of fitness going in. So we knew that he would do well on a lot of that kind of stuff. Plus, he's a big-ish guy. He's like 60. He's my frame, but very slight. So I outweigh him by like 100 pounds, but like about 6'2". So if he builds
Not
up,
quite 100 pounds, Kyle. He's
Well,
like 185.
yeah, I know, but I don't know. He's getting pretty close there for a minute. I was within striking distance of outweighing.
Of 1 unit.
Yeah, probably about what was the 1 unit?
That was striking distance of 1 unit more.
1 unit. But man, so super proud of him for doing all that.
That's
And
amazing.
We gotta check in with the progress now. My hope is if he comes within striking distance, it's time for him to take shit serious, and then he'll really dig in on the CrossFit, and then he'll be at the games before he turns 70.
He should do what every other athlete in that age group does, which is just cheat.
Yes, is that how that works?
Just cheat your way into the qualifier.
Oh, is that how that
Doesn't
works?
fucking matter. Yeah.
Because no one. I guess you don't really film.
No one fucking cares. Are you kidding me? That's so. Daniel, did you look it up? Is that what you're doing right
He
here?
is currently number 537.
Ooh, that's close,
See?
but that's not quite there.
That's not quite there.
No.
Yeah,
But
I guess
still-
we just don't have a competitive region.
33rd in South Central.
Yeah, that's right.
That's pretty huge.
pretty good.
Very, very impressive.
So good on Dad.
Yeah, go Cliff Senior.
Oh wait, so we have the breakdown here.
We have the breakdowns right here.
Let's see, what do we got? So he got 210 reps on. Is that workout 1 that I'm looking at? Oh, with the dumbbell snatches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
And then he got 51 reps of the last workout. So he made it to something 4 rounds. I can't interpret that stuff at all.
In
what it says on the thing.
in this last workout
17-3.
in 17th, which means he did the first 3 workouts. He did the first 3 rounds,
3. Oh, there it is.
and then so he did the first 3 rounds, and then he did 1 round at the second weight, and then got some pull-ups.
Word.
Some pull-ups in. That's
Cool.
pretty cool.
All right.
Good for him.
Yeah.
18th, by the way. That is good enough for 18th in our region.
18th in our region. If you're 62 years old.
Why is he Clifford Bogart? Oh, you're the 3rd. I forget.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you guys tell them apart? Like, how do you, if you talk, do you tell them all like Cliff the Elder?
In the house, he's CJ.
in the household.
He's
He's
CJ.
CJ. That's right. That's
Cliff
right.
is CJ, and
My
then
bad.
Dad is Dad, and then Dad back in Detroit, where he's from, is Bud, to distinguish him from his dad. So no one refers to him as Cliff. He was always Bud or Buddy growing up. So everyone has a nickname.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's right.
Nicknames are cool, I guess.
Nicknames are cool. So
Do you have like nickname envy right now? Or are you
No, man, my name is fucking Hammer.
Yes, his name's Armen Hammer.
What envy do I need?
He lives a nickname every day.
Wow, that's pretty cool. You know
that's
who
not your real
didn't?
name?
You know who didn't do so well on 17-3?
Who?
Hunter McIntyre.
Who's Hunter?
Hunter McIntyre, the guy who won, is like the fucking boss of Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull Ranch,
Oh, right.
and
right,
he's
right,
been
right.
making a run at
He was
regionals.
your obstacle course friend.
Yeah, obstacle
Yeah,
course
yeah,
friend.
yeah.
He was in like 13th or 14th place going into 17.3
13th overall.
in
his region.
SoCal. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
in Southern California, and after 17.3, he's in like 800th place
Oh, man.
because he can barely snatch 185.
Yeah.
So poor guy, poor Hunter.
Poor Hunter.
Yeah. So
So he's not generally fit enough to do that highly specialized skill.
yes.
yes.
See, that's what I don't like about snatches in these workouts is that it's like, yeah, sure, it's an opportunity to show that you're strong, but that's like skill strong. I want dumb strong. We need to get some dumb strong
Like
in there.
yeah, like moving a
deadlifts.
fire hydrant.
Yes, or like just pick the bar up off the ground. Not, strength mediated by like having to have high level skills, but just bigness allowed to show. So,
Well, that
deadlifting, squatting.
that's a good way for us to segue into 17.4.
Yes.
My guess is 17.4 will probably have handstand push-ups, and my guess is that. So my guess going into 17.3 was actually very close to being accurate. It was my guess was squat snatches, ascending ladder, and like one of those time gated. My thought was it was going to be squat snatches and wall ball, but I was pretty fucking close. I got the the gist of it correct, and I'm thinking 17.4 is going to be like barbell, pain cave, handstand push-ups.
Barbell pain cave.
So, like, an example of that would be last year's 16.4, which was those 55s workout. Do you remember that one?
Remind me.
It was 55 calorie row, 55 deadlifts at 225,
Oh,
55 handstand push-ups, 55 wall ball or something like that. And it was, like a 12-minute AMRAP, some number, I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, that workout would fit. Just repeat that one. That could
Right.
be the repeat this year.
That could be a repeat this
There
year,
you go.
and it would definitely fit. I mean, we haven't done any of those movements. It's the style of workout I imagine would fit well here. I mean, we've done a lot of workouts with small sets so far. Not a big workout that calls for huge volume pain cave world, which would be interesting to see. But yeah, who fucking knows? I don't know. It's tough to guess. Like, it's tough to get into Castro's mind because he's like putting up hints that don't even make any fucking sense.
Yes.
Have we still figured out the koi fish?
I don't know what the koi fish was all about.
Still, it's weird. It really shows the futility of trying to interpret the clues.
Right.
Even after the workout's announced, you're like, I still don't.
Well, I mean, the hint he put up for 17.3 was like a deck of cards like spilled over a table.
Oh, I know what the workout is.
And then 17.4, his hint for 17.4 is a picture of it looks like a picture of like outside of like a bus, like out of a bus window, and it's highlighting the emergency notice, like in case of emergency, break this window with a hammer. And then behind it is like a city skyline of I don't know what city it is. Maybe I don't know. It's in maybe Mexico City because he's in Mexico City for the announcement. I have no idea. But either way, who fucking knows? People are like, it means there's going to be a sledgehammer in 17.4. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah, because quick, everyone, get out to your Home Depot for the sledgehammer workout.
Yeah, that's that. Well, I mean, honestly, it would probably be easier to find sledgehammers than it was to find dumbbells.
They're cheaper.
Yeah, they're definitely cheaper.
That's the workout they need to repeat at the fucking CrossFit Games. The hammering the post into the sand.
2009. The sledgehammer event. If you don't know what Kyle is referring to, in 2009, so this whole unknown and unknowable aspect of the CrossFit Games has been going on for a very long time. And in 2009, the unknown and unknowable aspect of the games, the one event that they kind of like was kind of a precursor to all these new rogue implements that we've been seeing recently, was the sledgehammer event. And it was row 500 meters, hammer a stake into the ground, row 500 meters. And god damn, that workout was dumb. I mean,
where they dug out a pit and then equally packed in a bunch of sand so people would have a consistent resistance, which is, I guess,
except not really, because there are big hunks of rock in it.
No, not just that, but like, if you have a jar and you fill stuff with it, and then you start shoving pencils inside of it, it becomes harder and harder to put more pencils inside of it at some point, right? So they had this pit. It was filled with gravel, and you had to hammer these like 3 or 4 foot long stakes into the ground. The more stakes that are hammered into it, the more tightly packed it is, and the harder it's going to be to hammer stakes into it. And that's exactly what you saw. You saw like the last round of people are like, fuck, and like, it wasn't what you were expecting. Like what you think when you think, oh, we're going to see people hammering stakes into the ground is you think Zoolander, right? You think like great stance, nice wide grip on the sledgehammer. What we ended up seeing was idiots holding onto the fucking stake, holding the sledgehammer at the very top and just ding 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 ding.
Well,
ding,
because
ding,
they had to figure out a way to get it to stand up first. It took the kind of practical fitness thing a little bit too far, and just that it wasn't like they ran up and began pounding the stake that was already set up. It was like they had to kind of like figure out how to nudge it into the ground. Yeah, it was like just trying to see someone figure out how to make a birdhouse in the middle of a workout. It's like, all right, put a nail here, but the one thing I do remember about that was I forget which female athlete it was, but smashed her thumb. So she smashes her thumb,
destroyed it.
On the top by hitting it with the sledgehammer, and then she had to get back on the rower, and so she's rowing. And then I just remember she had this spray pattern on her ribs and on the ground of blood, because every time she came back and pulled on the rower, she flung blood on herself from her fucking smashed thumb.
It looked like something out of Logan.
Yes, it looked like she was standing behind someone who got shot. Basically, she looked like Jackie Kennedy in the workout, but she soldiered on. So
much like Jackie Kennedy.
Much like Jackie Kennedy did.
That was
Jackie Kennedy was standing in front of someone who got shot.
Yes. Or was the magic bullet through the bullet back to the left?
So that was a fucking crazy workout. I mean, why not just do, hey, you know what? We're going to move this pile of rocks here, and all of you have to move this pile of rocks. And that's exactly what they ended up doing. They did the sandbag event. That they just kind of normalized the work into like dumb, brute work.
Oh, yeah. That's actually one of my favorite events of all time.
It's a fucking cool
It's a great,
event.
great utilization of the terrain, such as it was, and yeah, it's nice and done.
But the hammer came back in the double banger event.
Yeah.
a couple
Oh, yeah.
years later,
Another silly workout.
it was kind of silly.
Yeah.
Rogue had to actually build those things, man.
Build
The
those
the banger things
Those
on the
never
things.
caught on.
Those never caught on. Never
You
saw
don't
those
see
at any
those
other gyms.
Never see those
Yeah.
in gyms
No.
anymore.
Uh-huh.
The weight that you have to hit across a track with a hammer.
Well, it's a firefighter thing.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a complete firefighter thing. It's
Cool.
it's supposed to train or test you in your breaching skills, right?
Okay.
So what they do is it's a weight, it's on a slide track, and usually for firefighters they don't do like the baseball bat swing to it.
Uh-huh.
They stand over it and they swing it between their legs.
Yeah, they had that element.
And they had that part of it.
Three of them,
yeah, they had 3 different versions of it, and that was one of them. And yeah, so that's a firefighter thing. So those
Yeah.
tools exist. That implement exists in like
Cool.
firefighter academies, just not at CrossFit gyms.
Yep.
Although that was also back in the era when, at the end of the CrossFit games, all the vendors, everybody would just leave their stuff and go. It was like, the games are over, bye, and leave everything. And it was like, if you want something,
Just take it.
just go to the Home Depot Center and take all the Atlas stones that are set there. Or
What?
like, the Big Bob is available. Just pick it up and fucking take it, because we're not taking it back to Ohio. Like, that's what it was like back then. You could just like text Bill Henniger, be like, hey, Bill, has anybody claimed one of the Big Bobs? No, man, they haven't, because it's fucking 15 feet long and 10 feet wide,
Please
and it
get rid
weighs
of it.
900 pounds. No one wants it. Like, I'll take one.
Yes.
Great. Pick it the fuck up. We're not driving it back to Columbus. Yeah, so
Did
that
you
was
take anything from
fuck
him?
no, I didn't take anything.
You
I
should take some shit.
I wanted to drive back and take some Atlas stones, but by the
Yeah.
time I'd even gotten together to figure out how to do that, I think they'd figured that all out.
I was just taking all the jump ropes.
I did go to I mean, they didn't leave everything. They just left the
Yeah.
cumbersome things,
Yes.
like jump ropes.
Jump ropes.
I have
Like
been
all
to
the
a
sledgehammers.
couple of gyms that have the Big Bobs, and I was like, what do you even do with this? Like, it just sits outside and they cover it, like it's like they like hang shit on it. Like, what the fuck did you do this for? Like, you spent all that time and energy getting it, like thinking what, you were gonna use it at some
They're
point?
aging meat just hanging
Yeah.
from
Exactly. That's where their paleo
That's right.
uncured bacon comes from.
Hey, I'd take a Big Bob. Why not? You can do pull-ups from it. It's just an elaborate rack. That's all it is.
That's all it is. I
Yeah.
could put one in my living
An
room.
elaborate
That's right.
coat rack.
Code rack.
Hey-o.
Exactly. Hey-o. Fitness.
Let's bring up some reviews.
Reviews.
Let's bring up some reviews. I think we've had some really cool traction recently. People have been really saying some positive things about
Nice.
us, and I
Good,
want to
good.
see if that has continued on.
Yes. Hopefully it's continued on.
Hopefully
it would be
it's
weird
continued
if this, I feel like you're jinxing us.
Yeah. It's like, it turns out that everyone listened to the last episode and thought to themselves, wait a second,
Wait a minute.
these guys are garbage. What the fuck is going on? Oh, 55 reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
How many
let's
new ones is that?
we have to go to most
Yeah,
recent.
That's about, what is that? I think from
I
last
think
time,
that's
it's a
3
minute.
more or 4 more.
No.
3 more.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, so we're starting with 36-pound love child says, neat 5-star review. These guys are not buttheads.
I'm actually somewhat offended by that. I admire Butthead. He's one of my favorite fictional characters.
I don't think they mean buttheads like Beavis and Butthead. I think they mean buttheads like being an a-hole.
Yes.
But we also are a-holes.
But we're also buttheads.
Either way, 36-pound love child, thank you very much for your kind words.
See, and I like this next one. It just says, Adam 0101 says, bring on the pre-workout, great podcast. That is an example of a nice, efficient review, because just to remind everyone, when we get to 100 5-star reviews, we are going to do pre-workout roulette on the podcast. We will fill 3 shaker containers with 1, 2, and 3 scoops of an off-brand Taiwanese pre-workout that probably contains methamphetamines, and we will drink it on the podcast. That is at 100. So get on your phone right now. Don't delay. add a 5-star review.
In fact, just to follow that up, the other newest review is I'm just here to see them chug pre-workout.
Yeah.
5-star review by Big Zero Jig, which great podcast. It's just the right blend of fitness and nerd discussions. Keep up the great work, Kyle, Chris, and Armen. Good job, Chris.
Thanks.
Hashtag chubby chasing CrossFitters. Well, thank you very much, Big
Christopher
OG.
Joseph Bogart III. That is my name.
That's right.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your reviews. That's very kind of you. We are now just a few more reviews closer to Armen overdosing
Yes,
on pre-workout,
pre-workout.
on shitty pre-workout.
I'd like to add, I'll be the one preparing these this pre-workout
right.
roulette, and I am not above fixing it. I will take bribes.
Yes, I know you also work for the pro wrestling vertical of Flow, so it makes sense that you're not above fixing things to
Yes.
get the end result you want.
No. We want the highest amount of drama possible here.
That's key.
That's just good storytelling.
So we need my evil twin brother to show up
That's right.
In a mask.
in a mask. Yeah. So I think to recap this episode, just quick little recap, guys. We learned that Baby Driver's really good.
Baby
Logan
Driver's
is
good.
crushingly sad and awesomely violent.
Yes.
17.3 was awesome, and 17.4, who the fuck knows? Like
Who
usual.
knows?
Is there something I'm missing? Am I missing something? Not in a recap, but in
Fitness.
general. Are we?
we didn't talk about Eddie Hall swimming.
Dude,
Yeah, that
Eddie
was
Hall
pretty
can
cool.
swim.
He can swim faster than that one guy.
That one kid. I mean, listen, it wasn't super fast. I think it was like a
Yeah.
14 or 15 second 25, which is like whatever. But he weighs 420 pounds and can deadlift 1,100 pounds.
Yes.
So
that makes it more impressive.
what I'm really happy about is all the people who felt the need to tell me that he was a swimmer growing up. And I really just want to thank every single person that just assumed that I don't fucking know that already.
I believe that was in the text of
Right.
the
I
article.
literally, it was the first sentence of the article. Eddie Hall grew up as a swimmer. Let's see if he still has it.
Yeah.
Surprise, he still has it.
Yeah.
Also, I'm very well aware that he grew up as a swimmer. So thank you very much to everyone who felt the need to give me that information. I really
These guys
appreciate
really
all the
have
support.
the inside info from watching that one Netflix documentary.
Watching that
Watch.
one underground Netflix documentary that no one's seen.
Yes.
So yeah, and then next week, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have watched, or one of us, Chris, will have watched Fittest on Earth 2016, and you will be prepared to give us a full report/review.
Absolutely, because you know why? Because it's totally easier than writing one down.
That's
right.
fine.
So
I don't mind at all.
We'll
I
just do
will
that right here.
monologue for 5 minutes on that thing if I can come up with 5 minutes worth of content.
Maybe if you guys are recovered, we can do a viewing party all together, and then still let just Cliff
I'm
do
fine
his
with that.
monologue.
Sure.
That'd be
There you
perfect.
go.
Uh-huh.
All right, so your social medias.
I am at Mr. Kyle Bogart on Instagram and Twitter.
I am highly inactive at Heterobear on Twitter.
I am highly active on Instagram. My
You are-
Instagram is great.
Your Instagram has been popping recently. Your South
Poppin'.
by Southwest puns have been
yes.
solid. They're not even puns.
Not really even puns.
You
I
just
put
replace
South by
words.
South in front of everything.
Yeah. Yes, it was. It's quite good. Although
I've toned it down. Like about 2 or 3 years ago, I would post like 45 times a day, but just take a picture of like a trash can and just like South by South trash can, just like South by South sandwich.
really
Yeah.
kind of like let that
Yes.
joke die out, an elegant death.
Let it go from funny to very unfunny, then to funny again.
Right.
And the only way to do that is to overwhelm someone.
Yes, just keep
Yeah.
it going.
That's right.
And I am at Armen Hoists. Thank you so much, folks, for listening to this episode of Scales Needed, and we will catch you next week. Good luck in 17.4.
Yeah.